From the City of Angels, you're listening to the James Salazar Media Podcast. On today's episode, we're going to talk about pop culture, movies, and TV shows. So let me strike the music, and I'll meet you on the other side.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Say hello to my little friend.
No, I am your father.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
And welcome to the James Salazar Media Podcast, where you get your weekly dose of pop culture, politics, and futurism. I am the formerly mentioned, your host, James Salazar, a.k.a. The Media. How's everyone doing today? We have a new president, official Joe Biden. Today we're going to come at you with some TV shows that I know you want to talk about. I know you're itching to talk about and to hear other people's opinion on. So we're going to do that today. But let me tell you let me just dip my toe into some politics really quick. Unfortunately, the new president, with a swipe of a pen, killed 10,000 jobs with a Keystone pipeline. Now, I'm trying to understand. I think this is an environmental move, but I don't understand it because guess what? Pipes don't emit greenhouse gases. I hope they know that. Now that he is cutting funding for the Keystone pipeline, it's going to stop before it's finished. We're going to have trucks going up and down the country from Canada all the way to the Gulf of Mexico, emitting greenhouse gases. Now, I understand there's new technology, some natural gas. That's pretty good, but that still emits a certain level of greenhouse gases that pipes wouldn't do. That pipe that goes down once it's created does not emit any greenhouse gases. And if you think this is to get us off oil, that is a naive statement because we have made promises and we have to keep our economy roaring. So those oil barrels will be shipped up and down the country, creating more green gases. So this does not make sense to me. But what are you going to do? You got a new administration. They got the House, they got the Senate, and they're going to greenlight stuff. Joe Biden's doing a gigantic package for the citizens of the United States. You know, and though I am a conservative libertarian, in normal times, I probably would be against this type of money going out to people, but they shut down the country. And there was an agreement, a social contract, for lack of a better word, that if you're going to shut down the country and we're all going to stay inside and not venture outside and shut down jobs, that you were going to help us out. If all things being equal, if I can go to work, then you don't have to give me the money. But if you're telling me I can't work and you're going to shut down most industries, and you want us to comply with such a request, then there should be some kind of agreement that you keep me from going under or open up the economy. And some people are in just such devastating circumstances financially and emotionally because of this shutdown. And for the country not to give us the money that we should get, and just to remind people on both parties that is the people's money. It is not your money. It's not the government money, and you got to make sure it's spent wisely for the government. No. And this is my biggest problem with Mitch McConnell. He was for the shutdowns. And when it was time to help people again financially, because the devastating numbers that rose in these last 3 months, he gave the people $600 and gave billions of dollars to other countries. Where was his fiscal responsibility then? Right? Because right now, before he lost the Senate, he wanted to stand up for fiscal responsibility right on the backs of people who are hurting, but didn't use his principles when that money that went to other countries could have been allocated back to the American people. It's too little, too late. You should have gave it to the American people, and that could have been it. Now we have another package that gives the people what they should have, plus another load of other shit. So it's disingenuous to give that much money to other countries, but say, we're only going to give the American people $600, who, that is the American people's money. They pay the taxes. Government doesn't create wealth. Government doesn't create jobs. The American people do. And that money should have went back to them. And this is the problem with politicians. They forget that they work for the people. They forget they're working with the American people's money. And when you break the social agreement of locking down, closing businesses, then you need to give some of that money back to the American people so they can survive, because it is the American people's money. At least that's what I think. So let's get into it, people. It was a very interesting year. I'm going to point out the things that stuck out to me the most. So let's get into number one, Star Trek Discovery. Now, what happened in this one, some space, and I'll go back to the other season of some space monster who's been around for 1,000 years and just collects data, and they use him to travel to places all over the universe, potentially. Became too dangerous. And so they jump 1,000 years to the future with this knowledge, for a lack of a quick understanding. And we had a new season 1,000 years into the future, about 700 years after Picard, close to 800 years after Kirk. And they had a new platform to write something new, a new experience, not held back by the current writing for that timeline. They can jump to the future and write whatever they want. And though I like Star Trek Discovery, they dropped the ball. They gave us something that almost seemed interesting, but fell short. And now here come spoilers in 1 and a 2 and a 3. Basically, all the Federation is gone, which was a very interesting concept. They're gone because all the dilithium crystals, which starships need to travel at light speed, warp speed, faster than the light speed, all ignited in an instant and destroyed pretty much every ship that had a warp capability. Where this universe that was so close to each other because of warp drive is now hundreds of years away from each other at impulse speed or non-light speed, non-faster than light speed. And the first drop of the ball of this, they didn't bother to talk about Klingons and Romulans and the new power structures, because everything's too far away. Which I think was a cop-out. Because that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see what happened to the Klingon Empire after 1,000 years. I want to see what happened to the Romulan Empire after 1,000 years. They don't even touch on that. They're still on this mystery of what It's called The Burn. What ignited the burn and killed all faster than light travel? I mean, you got writers, right? You got writers. You should be able to write something interesting. But I don't know. They get too much in their head. And they think something's clever that is not. And they forget who they're writing for. And they forget their audience. And they basically wrote that some dude trapped in some place, if he gets overly emotional because of his telepathic powers plus the environment that he was in, ignited all the dilithium crystals. Basically, that's it in a rough. And yeah, I don't care. That is totally not interesting. I mean, and here, how I would write it, and I know you haven't heard me say this, how I would write it, you can do all that, but you could have gotten a whole different race of aliens, maybe the spheres builders from Archer, coming back for revenge, causing the burn, and now we see them creating Dyson spheres or spheres, whatever, the circle round thing in the space, like a moon type, that are changing the physics of space in our space-time reality. Something like that. Not some dude who just gets emotional and he's like a child in his mind and he can just, have a tantrum and things dilithium starts to ignite. Sort of ridiculous. There are so many better ways to write this. The one I just said is even better. You could have had the next season set up for like a war between this new entities that are trying to screw with the Federation and all the other nations. Maybe the Romulans might be in cahoots. Maybe the Klingons might have brought them into our reality by accident. It could have written so many ways, but they wrote what they wrote. And I hope they didn't do this, which I don't mind that this would happen at the very end, that Michael Burnham becomes captain, because he's obviously the one who's able to make the hard decisions. But I hope they didn't write it for that. And it seems like it was. That should have been an afterthought. That could have been something done regardless of what the story was. So I'm saying it's disappointed. There were some interesting moments in it, for sure. One of the highlights of the series was the storyline with Captain Georgiou, the one from the different dimension. How they play that out. That was very interesting. And basically when that storyline or that character was resolved, it felt like the show had nowhere to go and definitely left us with what they left us with. So they took an opportunity, which was a great idea from the last finale from the last season, and they dropped the ball, according to me. If you think I'm wrong, write me, tell me why I'm wrong, what I'm not getting. But that's what I think would happen. Okay, let's get to The Mandalorian. Now, the first season of The Mandalorian was awesome. The second season seemed very slow to me. There were some prizes, and spoiler in 1, 2, 3. Boba Fett, that was interesting. I had an idea for Boba Fett, which is probably too late to implement now. They got all their storylines, and when Boba Fett crawls himself out of the pit in Return of the Jedi, after the Return of the Jedi, the Hutt take his ship, they part it out, and he goes on this revenge tour, trying to get his ship back and trying to get his stuff, and him, like a Western, like, dude, where's my car? Dude, where's my ship? And he has to reluctantly do some missions, and his expertise gets shown. He's badass. He kicks ass, and at the very end, he gets everything he wants it, and ends up putting the Hutt in their place. That was my idea, and obviously the book of Boba Fett is coming out. Maybe it wasn't so slow. It's that they kept on going back to the well with Baby Yoda, and I sort of wasn't into giving him a name. I didn't think it was needed, but it was good with Ahsoka coming into the storyline, and those who are fans of the Clone Wars cartoons. And also, like we said, Boba Fett. But you felt like, I guess there needed to be conclusion. You can't keep on going to the well for the third season about everybody chasing this baby Yoda. So the ending was a big surprise and big excitement. You have to see it, but if you don't know, spoilers in 1, 2, 3, they bring back Luke Skywalker. Because Luke Skywalker would be around in that timeline after he kills his father. Well, not really. His father sort of kills himself while he's trying to kill the Emperor in Return of the Jedi. This is like 5 to 9 years after that, and Luke Skywalker is a Jedi Master now, and he comes and gets Yoda, Baby Yoda, out of and the Mandalorian out of a very sticky situation. And man, I was watching it with my wife and my daughter, and I wanted to get emotional when I started to see Luke Skywalker. I was like, he's the hero of my childhood. But I stood strong, and I acted like it was like no big deal. But it was a really big deal inside when you see something that you cherish since your childhood come to life on screen again. And not only that, because in the movies with Luke Skywalker, he was always not quite there. He was always almost a Jedi. He becomes a full Jedi at the very end, but you still see his childlike nature in him. And you never really see him as a badass like his father was a badass, Darth Vader, right? Everybody knows Darth Vader is a badass. You get to see Luke Skywalker at the height of his power, and it's pretty amazing to watch, pretty fun to watch. And no matter what, that season finale is one of the best season finales I've ever seen. Because it was going to go that way no matter what. Once they put Luke Skywalker in there to save them, because if it was some other Jedi who did all the same moves and do all the same powers, it wouldn't have hit as hard emotionally as nostalgia does. So it ended well. They're coming out with like 10 shows. So what we know about the Star Trek universe is that somebody's calling me. Shut up. Now, what we know about the Star Trek universe, the Star Wars universe, that Jon Favreau is planning to create a 10-year arc to a major event based on Star Wars shows, and we're gonna have like 10 of them. And each one of them points to a major event. There's clues and everything. And it started off with Luke Skywalker in the finale. We're going to have like a couple shows this year, and I'll get to those at the end towards the end. But yeah, it was great. Let's see where they go with this. It ended with a touchdown. Another show I liked on Disney was The Right Stuff. It's a really good show, and it really goes into the personality of the astronauts, and how the top two, Alan Shepard and Gus Grissom, I think, how their alpha mentality made them out to be jerks and hard to deal with. And all the other astronauts and how they wrote them. I don't know if that was true that they were like that, but it makes it very riveting to watch about the competitiveness of astronauts, which isn't obvious, right? I know the one was Ed Harris, the Right Stuff, the movie. All painted them with rose pictures and everything, with very little depth to their characters other than history already tells us. But this really goes into their personalities and how they may have been heroes, but they may not have been the coolest people to hang around. So watch the Right Stuff. I think you'll enjoy that. Wonder Woman, big effing letdown. Come on. I mean, she fought a god at the end of the first one. Now she fights a cheetah girl. I mean, and there was only like one fight. And the fight wasn't that epic. And they pretty much stole the plot of Wishmaster. I mean, it didn't do anything for the franchise or the DC universe. And basically they brought Chris Pine in to save the day. He was the highlight of the show, of the movie. Like he was in the last one. I mean, they're not going to be able to go to that well again for the third one. They already slated for the third one. And this was not action-packed. This one was too much in the head of Wonder Woman. I mean, there was moments, but the first Wonder Woman was epic and had an epic storyline. This one was, I like Pedro Pascal. He's good, but that character was okay. And I was waiting for a global event to happen. It was global, but not because somebody wishes on a spoiler alert, some old relic that gives the wishes. It was a big ball drop. No touchdown. Touchdown. One potato. Come on. What are we doing here? You got to write better, especially in the pandemic. You got to write better. You got to come with it. That was not coming with it. That was phoning it in with a simple idea. And they held out and it was done about a year and a half ago. So disappointing. I mean, the acting wasn't bad. Just a storyline. Story bad. Now, the highlight for me was finding the Teen Titans on HBO. That was a fantastic show. And it's very adult. The fighting's great. The acting's great. It goes through Robin after he leaves Batman. And, Batman, he's not a nice guy to criminals, He don't give a fuck. He's going to beat the shit out of people. And Robin didn't like who he was turning out to be, fighting alongside with Batman, and he tries to find himself outside of that. And they got 2 seasons. They're coming up with a 3rd season. They are excellent. I enjoyed them very much. I can't... If you like DC and you like superhero shows, that's one of the best. For sure. Hands down. Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina Morningstar. Now, we know at the end of this, and spoilers in 1, 2, and 3, we know at the end of the previous season, Sabrina split her soul into 2 pieces. And one becomes the queen of hell, and the other one goes to live the normal life in her town. Well, that causes a sci-fi trope, like always, this void to come and destroy everything. And you see this a lot in sci-fi. It was lazy writing. They try to give us some certain things that come before the void, but the void is always coming. And at the end of the day, basically, they defeat all the other things, the four horsemen type of things before the Antichrist comes. Basically, the same concept. And you saw this in the originals called the Hollow, and all these different like voidness. Like, people are afraid of nothingness, and at least writers in sci-fi and fantasy, they're afraid of nothingness, and this is what they go to as what is the deepest evil. It's a lack of light or dark. It's just nothing. And this is what they wrote, and which told us that they probably, even though I love Sabrina, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, they really had nowhere to go writing with it, because once they write that, it's the end. They have nowhere to go. And when you look at the show and the last 3 seasons, it pretty much should have ended on the 3rd. But it's such a fun show to watch. And even this season, even with this sci-fi trope, this easy writing, it's still fun to watch. And to watch the actors. The actors are great. I love them all. But and the unique part after it, and spoilers in 1, 2, 3, it basically Sabrina has to merge herself back, but it's such a dangerous thing to do that it could cause her death, and it does, and everything's back, and no more Sabrina. And one of the dark endings to the show is that the boyfriend who loved her, and you see Sabrina in heaven, her boyfriend kills himself to be with her, and they just glance over that, but that's pretty dark ending to that story, that she dies and her boyfriend who's in love with her, offs himself so he can spend eternity with her, which was nice, I guess. But that's how that ended. And no, I'll probably go back and watch it later on in my life. It doesn't. Some things just, they shouldn't be continued. I wish. If they could write something interesting, like 2 more seasons, I would be up for it. But they got to come better what they did with the 4 seasons, because that's just too easy. I like what's his name, Father Blackwood. He has an amazing voice, that guy. Father Blackwood. Sabrina Morningstar. I can't do his voice. It's too awesome. But, yeah, that was great. I liked it. It's just the writing was way too easy. There were some very fun things in it. And Sabrina's up to her old hijinks. And, but I just seen that sci-fi storyline that vampire. I seen it in the originals, and I seen it in a couple other things where they just void is coming for everybody, and something needs to be corrected. And yeah, they went there, but it's still fun to watch. I saw Queen's Gambit, which was a very good show. It's about chess. I love chess, so I'm bringing it up. It tells a fictional story about a girl who's a chess genius, and it goes in and out of what other chess masters and geniuses have gone through. It pulls from all these different stories and timelines. I don't know if they actually gave permission for them to look at things that way, but it was very good. A lot of people who are great at chess love the movie. So if you want to get a good grasp of what chess is like, definitely watch Queen's Gambit. And then I'll say Searching for Bobby Fischer is a great movie to watch if you want to see a good chess movie. But it was really good. I saw another show called Professor and the Madman with Sean Penn and what's his name? The Australian Mel Gibson. That was good. It's about how they created the first English dictionary, and the relationship between the person who was writing it and a madman, a murderer and a madman who was brilliant, help him create the dictionary. it gets very complicated on how they do that. I can't give it justice. But it was very interesting. I definitely give that 4 potatoes. Also, Away with Hilary Swank was a good story about Mars and all the troubles that might come up in as we trek out to Mars and which might happen in the next 5 years for us. It's a good storyline. It's great. I'm not going to spoil everything for you. Watch that. Midnight Sky with George Clooney was a good show. It has it deals with the science of stuff and how things might turn out if Earth became a place that is immediately inhabitable and you have to get off it. You got to send space missions back away. People try to trek out to hopefully make it to a new Earth. And some people just stay behind. And psychological issues that come with that. And the technology, theoretical, some practical. It's always fun to watch. So Midnight Sky is good. It's not full. It's not action packed. But it puts people into circumstances that might come when you attempt to go to a new planet. Also, for my music fans, there's one called Nocturnes about the competitive nature in school of classical piano playing, and the lengths some people will go to sabotage each other and to be the best at music. So that's very interesting. It has a little bit of supernaturalness of a good storyline about making it palatable for everybody by making a little bit of a horror movie. So definitely watch that. I give that 4 potatoes. Radioactive is a very good movie about the life of Madame Curie, who discovered uranium, and finding that isotope had big consequences for her life, physically, and losses. And it just tells of her bravery of, though how devastating it was for her life, she continued on to become a scientist of note. So it's a great story. I definitely recommend it. The Boys. Now, The Boys was a good this year. They stepped it up. It was fun. Homelander gets even more crazier. And he has a sidekick this time around that's pretty fucked up. And I'm not going to give any spoilers for that. I want you to watch that. That's one show you have to watch. You can't have me hear it. But it's definitely a 4, almost 5 potatoes. Definitely watch The Boys second season or third season. Second season. The third season is supposed to be even more exciting with, if you like sci-fi, Dean, what's his name? Jensen Ackles coming in as a character that is famed in the comic book. A part of that Vought world inside The Boys TV show. And last but not least, The Expanse. Now, I've been trying to get into this show. I jumped into the 3rd season. It just drags. But I'm trying to get to it because a lot of people watch it and a lot of people say it's good. So they're coming out with a 6th season. So I'm trying to get through the 4th season. I mean, there are good moments in it, and there's some intrigue in it. It just goes very slow. I mean, you thought the Game of Thrones was slow. This feels way slower than that. At least you saw the characters do cool shit in it, in the Game of Thrones. In between, this one, they're just talking a lot, and they're going over some issues that they have with each other, and while dealing with somebody's trying to. So this is 3rd season. So I got to get through the third season, get to the fourth, to the fifth, and be ready for the sixth. Okay? So far, this third season is very slow. Okay? Those are the ones I wanted to talk about today. What I want to do now is tell you what's coming in the future, my friends. What is coming this year? Okay. Oh, I want to say one thing about the 700. I don't know if I talked about this yet. I saw the season finale, and it was okay. It sort of did a Stargate Ascension thing. So, and like Clark, who makes all the devastating and hard decisions, doesn't get to evolve to the next level of humanity. She gets left behind. So that's pretty sad, fucked up. But they lessen the blow, and this is spoilers, by them having the ability to be, all her friends who did evolve have the ability to visit them physically, so she doesn't have to be alone. But she never will evolve. Eventually, she'll die, and she won't be able to go on to the next level with them. So, yeah, there's that. So, there's WandaVision. I haven't seen that yet. That's on Disney. That's out now. Batwoman, I do not watch that show. I just barely started the first season of Snowpiercer. It seems okay so far. Doom Patrol, I saw the first season. It was okay. I haven't finished it. But that's coming on January 26th. And then there's one called Resident Alien by Sci-Fi. And I'm going to push record on that show and see how that works. The Breach with, what's his name? Bruce Willis comes on February 2nd. There's a Netflix show called Space Sweepers about picking up space debris in space. So that comes in February 5th. There is a movie on Amazon called Bliss with looks like Selma Hayek and what's his name? Owen Wilson. Yeah, they think they're in an artificial universe, and a simulation, so they're going to try to check that out. Tribes of Europa, supposed to be a good sci-fi show by Netflix, coming February 19th. Look out for that. Second season of For All Mankind. For All Mankind was a great show. It tells us what if Russia got to the moon first, and how we would have dealt with that issue. And so the first season ended really interesting. That definitely gets 4.5 potatoes For All Mankind. New season comes February 19th. The Flash season 7, I stopped watching The Flash. It just got, some dude's faster than him until he's not faster than him. It's like devastating. It's just the same shit over and over again. So I stopped watching it. I love the characters. I love the actors. But the storylines just don't go anywhere with me. They're going to come out with a new TV show on CW called Superman and Lois, and that should come February 23rd. And then we have, what is that? Sputnik. That's coming on Buy on Movies. Now, let's see. There is a Hulu show called Boss Level. I don't know what that is. I don't have Hulu. Just it can't. Chaos Walking is a. Hold on, let me see what these are. Never Ending Loop. Okay, so Never Ending Loop with Mel Gibson. So is Boss Level. Okay. Chaos Walking, this Rezan, an adaptation trilogy where the human race, now colonized distant planets, finds themselves suffering under the scourge of the noise, a virus which turns thought into audible sounds. What? That sounds crazy. I'll watch that. That is a movie. Chaos Walking, Soulmates. So that comes. Oh yeah, those come in the boss level, and Chaos Walking are March 5th. Godzilla versus King Kong comes March 22nd. Here's an interesting one, and should come into the first quarter of this new year. I don't watch Legends of Tomorrow, but Halo's TV series on Showtime. That's a good reason to get Showtime. I loved and played Halo. That shit gets 5 potatoes. They're gonna do a show on it. It's gonna be very interesting to watch. Also, Fifth Avenue is a comedy sci-fi show where there is like a cruise spaceship and they take a wrong turn, and it's going to take them like 5 years to get back home. And season 2 of that. Motherland. I have no idea what Motherland's about. Looks interesting. Looks like it's set in alternate America where witches ended up persecuting over 300 years ago by cutting the deal with the government to fight for their country. Oh, interesting. So they weren't killed at the stake. Our military is full of witches. That sounds very interesting. That's going to be what? Season 2. So I got to watch season 1 of that. I'll come back to you on that. Got tired of Supergirl. Eventually just didn't go anywhere with me. I liked it at first. The first season is great. Her sister's hot in it. Black Widow movie, May 7th. Stargirl season 2, don't watch that. Second quarter. The Forever Purge. War Tomorrow. Let's see. Raised by Wolves season 2 is the third quarter. I like that show. And October 1, the new Dune series comes. A new movie with Jason Momoa and a lot of other great actors. I mean, they put a lot of money in this, so I'm very excited to see this one. It's coming in October. And then we got skip to December here, and Spider-Man 7, December 17th, Spider-Man movie. December 22nd, the new Matrix 4. December 25th, the new Mandalorian series, season 3, and sometime in December, the Book of Boba Fett should come out. And let me see, in the fourth quarter of the season, we got The Boys season 3 sometime in the fourth quarter of this year. Jupiter Legacy 1, what is that? Multi-generation American heroes epic. Jupiter Legacy, the first generation superheroes who received their powers in 1930. Okay, it sounds like The Boys a little bit. And Liberated. Liberated is an interactive dystopian graphic novel. Okay, oh, that's a video game, maybe. I'm too old for video games, or no, I have no time. If you like the Apple TV's C with Jason Momoa, season 2 comes out sometime in the second quarter. Black Mirror season 6, all the Black Mirrors have been on point, and tell you to watch. And I'm very excited to see that happening in the fourth quarter of this year. Army of the Dead this season. Following zombie outbreak in Las Vegas, a group of mercenaries take on an ultimate gamble, venturing into the quarantine zone to pull off the greatest heist ever attempted. Okay, why not? Upload season 2. That's a very funny show. We should get Occupation Rainfall movies. So I thought this was canceled, but in the fourth quarter, is that fourth? Am I saying fourth quarter right? Fourth quarter, yeah, fourth quarter. Fourth quarter of the season, you're going to see The Orville, which is it's like a parody of of Star Trek, meant to be funny, season 3. We got Star Trek Discovery season 4. And we got the Westworld season 4 coming. We got Stranger Things season 4. We got, what is Prodigy? Prodigy follows a group of lawless teens who discover a derelict starship and use it to search for adventures and salvation. All right, so, okay. That sounds interesting. That would be a first season. And What If series by Disney, where they're going to do a lot of like hour or 2 hour shows based on changing the timeline or the storyline of what happened in the Marvel universe. It's called What If. What if, what if the Hulk did beat Thanos, or, and they'll start writing from that premise. So that's going to be very interesting. The Teen Titans season 3, really looking forward to that. I told you I liked it. That should be in the fourth quarter. Lost in Space season 3, which they say is the end of the series. Looking forward to that. Handmaid's Tale season 4. I don't watch that. Obi-Wan Kenobi season 1 should come this year. Another Life, which is a good show. Liked it. It's about these things. This thing dropped off on Earth that just showed up on Earth, and they found out they can find it in other planet, and they're going out to the other planets to find out what's in store for them. Definitely watch it. I give that definitely 4 potatoes. I guess Foundation by Apple TV is supposed to be a great epic sci-fi opera on Apple TV, coming in the fourth quarter. Doom Patrol season 3. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and The Expanse Season 6, Bad Batch, which is a Star Wars show that will add to that Star Wars universe, that big event. Raising Dion Season 2, it's a good show, good premise. The kid can get annoying, but if you get past that, that's a good show. Star Trek Lower Decks, it's a cartoon comedy TV show for what's that? That's CBS, I think now. But a big news about CBS is that they're going to turn into Paramount Pictures or Paramount something, but they're no longer going to call it CBS. So they're going to redo the CBS what is that app, and call it the Paramount, and put more stuff on it. Nice, right? And then we got Doctor Who season 13, Picard season 2, Star Wars Vision season 1, and a TV series by Netflix, Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, Jurassic and it looks like Jurassic World Domination and Transformers 7 are set for June 2022. So that's all I'm going to get into. I'm not going to give you all the years, but look forward to that. What's this? Star Trek. Did I say Star Trek Discovery Season 3? I did say that, right? What am I doing now? October. What's this? Did I skip stuff? Oh, no. I went too far. Okay. So there you go, people. That was mind-bending. Fun. Looking forward to a lot of stuff. They're going to see a lot of new stuff come out. I mean, people are going to hit the ground running. When it comes to what's going to happen this next year. I saw that show Outside the Wire by Netflix. It was very good. It's about an artificial intelligent commander that is a secret. Nobody knows he's artificial intelligence except this one, sergeant or something. I don't know. And he takes him on a super adventure. Don't want to spoil that for you. But, hey, A lot of things to look forward to. Write it down. Let me know what you think about these shows, whether you think my critiques about the shows I did watch are completely wrong and I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Please put it in somewhere where I can see it. Write to jamessalazarmedia@gmail.com. And if you want to follow me on any of my social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, just type in James Salazar Media. I should come up. Just put subscribe. Leave a comment. Subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to all the social medias. It would leave a review. I would greatly appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Next, we will be coming, as promised, with the very first module in what you can and can't control. We're going to do that next. So prepare for that. Coaching corner stuff. So if the storms of life come against you and you find yourself on your knees, stand tall. Take a look at that storm and say what my sensei Jack Burton always says. Give me your best shot. Strike the music.
I am a robot.